are obsessed with Bluey.
Hang on.
What?
Mum, this one makes me feel extra warm inside.
Christmas spirits.
Well, I don't remember the debate, so no, we're not going to reopen it because I got nothing. Spit or swallow. Hello, everybody. It's
Merry Christmas.
Well, it's been and gone technically, but...
Oh well. I've been waiting all December to say Merry Christmas without someone being like, it's not Christmas.
Well, it's technically not anymore. It's Boxing Day.
Merry Christmas. We are here with a kind of year in review episode for you today.
We thought we'd look back and look at all the bangers.
Yeah, well, we're kind of in the madness getting ready for Christmas, having a break, and thought we'd do a wrap up. So if you are someone who has listened to every single episode of the show and never ever forgets anything, you will remember all these.
I'm jealous.
Honestly, I didn't remember half these. So
neither.
if you're that person.
It was actually fun going back through and listening.
I know. I was like,
story.
we've sent so many good stories. Yeah. So I'm actually excited to go back through, especially like a lot of these I picked, well, my top stories were actually quite a few from early on. So if you have only joined us in the last couple of months, you'll hear some new stories anyway. But when I was doing that, I found some random Christmas stories that we'd been sent that we shared in like June, July, not Christmas time. So I thought now is a good time to revive them. So I'm going to jump straight in with one from episode 13.
Yeah, we've been doing this for 42 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
42 weeks, I mean.
Well, 42
weeks. 42 episodes.
That's like if someone got pregnant.
Thankfully, not us.
Yeah, when we started, that baby will be here by now. Absolutely.
Actually, there's a few friends' babies born this week. We know what you were doing in... Anyway, we're going to continue. February.
Well, okay.
Sorry, Christmas stories.
Yes, I found Christmas stories. So from episode 13, every night for bedtime for as long as I can remember, I've sung my daughter old songs like All You Need Is Love and Puff the Magic Dragon. When she turned 5, she got a tablet for Christmas. She had been begging for one for a long time and was so excited. The very first thing she did was ask me to put our songs on it. I was tearing up at this beautiful moment until 10 seconds into playing the first song, she stops it and says, "Wow, now I know what it sounds like when people who can actually sing it." I didn't know whether to keep crying from the kick in the heart or laugh at how funny it actually was.
That's so rough.
Yes, I forgot a tablet. Now you don't have to ever sing to me again. So beautiful, so rude.
Our kids have done that to both of us.
Oh, yeah, I've had the mummy, stop singing.
Stop trying to sing.
We'll be in the car and I'll be singing along to one of their favourite songs. Mummy, you're ruining it. Oh, great.
And that's just me telling back. Anyway, I have one from episode 17. It's probably one of my favourites. One of our holiday traditions is making our famous family eggnog recipe. All our friends and family know about it and ask us to bring it to all the events we go to. We make it in large batches on the December weekends to use throughout the week. The recipe comes with a large amount of alcohol, but because we started being asked to take it to events and the addition of our kids over the years, we adjusted the recipe to add the alcohol afterwards, so it's optional. That means that normally we have a large alcohol-free drink base kept in the fridge until we add it just before the party. So I didn't think twice when giving the kids a bit after dinner in the 2 days leading up to the party. Party time comes and I was getting the alcohol out to add and my husband saw me and said, "Wait, didn't you see my note? I forgot and added the alcohol in it when I made it. I was just going to make another batch today without it." That note had fallen to the back of the fridge and I obviously hadn't drunk any myself yet to know that I'd been serving the young kids alcohol eggnog the last 2 days. No wonder they slept so well.
They would have slept so good.
What alcohol's in eggnog?
I don't know.
So we don't do eggnog in Australia.
Well, because do you drink eggnog warm? It feels like
most people have it in a warmer.
Yeah, it feels like it's a snowy, cold area. Our summers are like 30 plus degrees. Our Christmas is 30
milk
plus
punch
degrees.
Or egg milk punch.
No one wants to drink a milky drink when it's 30
Brandy,
degrees
rum,
outside.
whiskey, or bourbon?
Oof.
Yum.
Kids were having a great time.
Mum, this one makes me feel extra warm inside.
I feel Christmas spirit. Christmas spirits. So they were the Christmas
I want
stories.
to try
and I was
some.
like,
I don't think I've ever had it. I
neither.
want to try some. I'm going to go buy some from the shop. It's not the same, but I don't care.
Yes. Well, we've learnt a lot of things. If we're doing
Have we learnt a lot of things?
I think if we're doing year in review, I know we're meant to be unhelpful, but we have obviously learnt a lot of what nots to do's from
Oh, yeah, okay. Are we talking podcast or parenting or both?
probably both.
Yeah, cool.
Podcast wise, we learnt pretty quick.
Poo doesn't sell.
We did a couple of
We went pretty hard on the poo.
well, that's
First
because we
up.
were like living in that. Our kids had a couple of brutal poop incidences, and we were like, "This happens to everyone. Let's make it a segment." And we quickly learned we'd see the stats of people watching, and suddenly we'd start that segment, and people would be like, "Nope."
So that did not work.
So we know that those stories, they're okay, like occasionally scattered throughout, but not as
Yeah.
let's not focus on it. And I think now that our kids are getting less and less
Poopy.
poop gross, we're realizing,
Well-
okay, that's a season of parenting.
We say that as the 3-year-old is about to step into toilet training.
I know.
So, we did learn not to mention the background of the big man in the big red suit
Oh, yes.
without a warning.
Yes, we give
For
Santa
little
warnings
ears?
now.
We may have
Apologies
recorded
to
an
the parent
episode.
that we ruined it for.
Um,
In the car, listening in the car with their kids. Oh, we're here
That
to
was-
be unhelpful.
what was one of those mid-July ones from those stories where we accidentally talked about,
We talked about Santa. We can say
Santa.
his name. Like, we just won't.
and we talked
mention
about
where he comes
the
from.
reality of Santa, and may have burst a few bubbles for the children, which was oops.
Yeah, we had that oopsies. One thing we discovered, we are not the only parents that are obsessed
Hang
with
on,
Bluey.
hang on.
What?
That was never I bet you we're the only parents that love Bluey.
No, but I think we've.
It is the most watched TV show of all time in the world.
I was surprised by how many
Okay.
other parents were overtly like, woo. Like, obviously, it's the most played show because the kids play it. But it was really nice to discover when we started talking about how much we loved it that there are a lot of other parents out there mad keen to watch the episodes like us. We found our people.
On that note, Bluey movie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, except we're going to wait like freaking 2.5 years.
I know. I was like, why announce this to me now and break my heart, make me wait 2 years for a movie? But anyway.
Buttheads. But also, yay.
All right. So while we're reviewing the year, we figured we've both been scanning through our notes for all the episodes, just kind of going over all the stories, refreshing, being like, wow, what a year. We figured we'd just bring our top 3 stories each and maybe go one for one,
Sure.
reading our top
We
stories.
can do one for one. It's fine.
This one one of my favorite came from the very first episode we did. My daughter was 4 and asking me how babies were made. I told her that daddies give mummies the seed and then the baby is made in mummy's tummy. So we were in Kmart and in the line to check out, and she goes really loud, "Hey mum, what did dad's seed taste like when you ate it?" Because of course, to her, to get the seed in your tummy, you'd have to eat it. And every single person in line stopped and stared at us, and I had to explain to her that I didn't actually eat it. But yeah, if you do, it does taste gross.
I forgot about that ending. Spit or swallow.
Jeez.
See, I'm not afraid to say this is what I've learned. I can say things.
I've learned I'm very grateful for the edit feature that this is not a live show because some of the things that we've cut that you've said, I'm like, wow,
It's
don't
not
get us
bad.
No, you've just got a very dry sense of humor that some people don't get straight away. And I'm like, oh, I don't think other people will find that as funny
The
as you do.
sensitive type.
Oh, jeez.
I have a favourite one.
All right, you go.
This one is actually my favourite one. This has done the rounds on socials, but
You're going to read it anyway.
I'm going to read it anyway.
We're gonna.
When my son was 2 to 3, he got obsessed with the Wiggles. It was so bad that when we go to a friend's house, he would run to the TVs and shout, "Wiggles, Wiggles, Wiggles," demanding that we put on his Wiggles DVD. We knew we had to break the habit, mainly because the music is super annoying and was driving us nuts. One night, instead of putting on the Wiggles music to help him go to sleep, my husband filled the iPod with hours of the Beatles. We desperately told a lie to our son that spanned a good 6 to 7 years. That night, we told him that this was, in fact, the Wiggles' new album. He and his little brother listened to the Beatles every night for years after that. There is a happy ending to the story. When he turned 15, he and his schoolmates entered and won a competition to meet Sir Paul McCartney and attend a concert.
Talking to the mum, she was like, because we know this person. I actually, on socials, a lot of people were like, "Oh, that can't be real," like as if you get to meet Sir Paul McCartney.
Actually a family friend of ours. So.
Yeah, we actually know the people, and this is legit 100%. She was like, he was so surprised that he knew more songs than all of his friends.
Well, he didn't think he knew any of them, and then they were
he
like...
He found out. What happened to the Wiggles? Oh, that was great. We know the person this story came from too, but we remain, as always, completely anonymous.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure we know most of these people.
Maybe that's why we found them so funny. It's like we've got vivid imaginations. We can imagine the kids in this.
Let's go.
Once I was putting the baby to sleep, my 3-year-old son escaped from the house and went missing. We looked all around the neighbourhood to no avail. When my neighbours returned home from walking their dog, they discovered my son, who had climbed into their house through the doggy door, then had handcuffed himself with toy handcuffs to their front door. Imagine their surprise and my embarrassment when they went to unlock their front door and discovered my missing son handcuffed to the inside of their door. So when I got sent the story, I was like, how long was he missing? Weren't you in full panic mode? Your son is not in the house. I would be freaking out.
Oh, you would lose your crap.
And she was like, well, I don't know how long it took me to get the baby to sleep. It was one of those really long, drawn-out patting the baby sessions, but I was aware he was missing for about 15 minutes, long enough for me to walk around the neighbourhood and to the park. He was so independent, though, and it wasn't the first time he'd taken off. He was known to jump on his little bike and race up to the park when no one was looking, so I was pretty expectant to find him at the park. Oh, my gosh, I would be, freaking out.
I think you need to use those handcuffs. Timed or something. We still haven't gotten an answer. Were they fluffy handcuffs? That was the one question.
You needed to move on. You got so fixated on where the handcuffs were from.
And guess what? I'm back. Were they fluffy?
And we're going to move on again.
Where did the handcuffs come from?
What was your second story?
One fine afternoon, my boys decided that 3 major disasters at once was way more fun than just one. Simultaneously, the following happened. Mr. 3.5 cracked his head on the cement, needing a visit to emergency. Mr. 1.5 was outside, took off his nappy on a hot day, pooed on the ground and walked in it, and proceeded to walk his filthy feet through the house. Meanwhile, the kitchen sink I was filling overflowed and flooded on the kitchen floor. I survived, but my brain has blocked out how.
Oh my gosh. That's all the bad things that happen, that give you a nightmare day. You only need one of them. And it's they've all happened at once.
Blood, poo, flood.
Actually, I think this episode
was called Blood, Flood,
Speaking about the things that we've learned, I tried calling the episode when we first released it Blood, Flood, Poo because I was like, ooh, that'll be... But who wants to listen to Blood, Flood, Poo? After a couple of days, I was like, I better change that title, and we changed it and people started listening to it.
So bad.
I was like, we've learned a lot doing this.
So bad.
All right. My number 3 story was years ago when my baby was only a few weeks old. We were still only sleeping 1 to 2 hours at a time and nursing all through the night, milk on tap. The sun came up and my husband left for work. It got to around 9 a.m. and I was still trying to get this baby down to sleep. Just as I got her down, there was a knock at the door. It was a guy wanting to sell me something like solar or electricity. Not someone I wanted to see, but I had to answer to stop him from knocking so he wouldn't wake the baby. He launched straight into his spiel, but after a few seconds, I could see his demeanor shift and he looked uncomfortable. He didn't say much and he left very quickly without me having to shut the conversation down, which was a surprise. Well, I wasn't sad he left so quick. I was a bit confused until I looked down to see that I had my boob out.
I mean, old mate salesman had a great day.
No, he felt awkward and left.
And then anyway.
No, you perv. That's just...
Could have been J-Dub. It could have made his day.
I'm pretty sure by the sounds of it, he just felt very uncomfortable and wanted to leave.
That would be awkward though.
Would be very awkward. You just made yourself sound so pervy. You're like, ooh, boobs.
It's been so long.
Whatever. That's just like ultimate mum life. Like if you had to summarize what it's like to have like those first few months of having a baby, it is that sleep deprived, don't know where I am, don't know what I'm doing, just
don't know if I have clothes on.
Just answer the door and I have a boob out. So I loved that story, that one.
I'm sure you did.
That one.
Oh, I'd love that
amazing.
story too.
Go on, do another one.
My 3-year-old son had recently been toilet training when we were out of the shops with the whole extended family on holidays. He said he needed the bathroom, and as dad, that was my moment now because he wanted to try the urinals. He did his business and I took the opportunity to do the same. As we walk out the door, he says to me loud enough for the whole family to hear, "Daddy, you have a huge willy." My wife lost it laughing and I've never been more proud.
Dad goals.
Yes. Yes.
And pay the kid later.
That's my top 3.
That's your top 3. My top 3.
That's pretty
Had a great year. There's so many though. I don't think
So
there's a
many.
single, like looking through, I don't think there's a single dud episode. I don't think we would call any episodes a dud.
There's a
episode.
few lame stories in it, but there was no there's no
But all
flop
of them
episodes.
are things that have happened to people and have just made us as parents feel a lot more normal.
And
feel a
thankful
lot-
it's not us.
Well, and just feel better for the stuff that has happened to us because it's like, oh, these tantrums and meltdowns don't just happen to us. These insults from our children don't just happen to us.
So speaking of the opposite, we have some banger episodes.
Oh, yes. There are some that like really stand out. So while I was scrolling through, I was like,
I was going to say, you picked these.
If you are on holiday mode and just want some fun listening, want some great laughs, I picked my top 3, like if you want something to go listen to, go check out our first From the Mouth of Babes episode 6. That was when we said, what are the funniest things your kids have said? And we've done this quite a few times. I think we've got about 6 different episodes where this features, but this one was the first and absolute banger. Second would be the first school fails and tales we did. That's episode 9.
Well, that had our most viral clip in it.
Well, it had a couple. Like I put a few of these on
Yeah, I
socials and
remember.
they had a
And they
couple.
went
From
ham.
lunchbox beers to the kids selling pornos, to like fail cross country. Usain Bolt liked that video that I put up
I
of
did
that.
too.
Yeah. So
Shout out to Usain.
if you are looking for something to go listen back to, or
That was
you
a good
haven't
one.
listened to the earlier episodes, that's a great one to go
Yeah.
back to. And then if you're looking for something nostalgic, you're in Christmas, New Year's mode, you want something nostalgic, we did in episode 12 a great parent debate on TV shows.
that's right.
We were comparing our TV shows better for kids when we were kids back in the 90s or now.
Modern day. I had the
so-
90s, Beck had the modern day.
Well, we've got Bluey. We're not going to reopen the debate because we kind of both agree.
Well, I don't remember the debate, so no, we're not going to reopen it because I got
I
nothing.
think we went through all the creepy shows that were around when we
there
were
were
kids
so
too. There was so
many
many creepy and
bad
so many shows that we were like, how is that even allowed to be a show? Like,
But like Baba, Arthur, Franklin.
and then the shows that have been ruined. Anyway, we're not going to rehash the episode.
All the
It is
good
already there. It's a great
and listen to
episode. So go listen to that as well. If you're watching on YouTube, you will have got some little tags at the top to click on.
Are you going to do the
Yeah,
taggy
I'll do the
things?
taggy
Yeah, good.
things.
You
Click
do it.
somewhere up here. And
Your handle's off the screen.
I don't know where I am. But that's it from us today. We're keeping
It is nice and short
sweet.
because, like, it's holidays and I'm probably having a beer on the beach, and that's about it.
Well, next week we will be too. We will
Oh,
still
it's
have an
Boxing
episode.
Day. No, we're probably shopping.
Oh, goodness, no. I'm
No?
not going shopping. It's Boxing Day.
All right, I might be shopping.
Next week, we will have another episode next week.
Yes.
It will be another shorter one, just nice, fun holiday laughs. So keep
be,
sending us your stories, especially for the new year. 'cause
New
we will be
Year,
breaking up into
New Year themed.
Yeah. So we'll
See
be
you
there
next week. See you next year.